part, which is shooting, okay? Now I know Mike Frogley at University of Illinois had talked a little bit about shooting technique earlier, so we won't talk about shooting technique. I just want to talk about some of the things that you want to be able to do in terms of being successful with an offensive strategy. There's a lot of different shots that you can take. We're going to talk about, for the most part, shots that you're going to take from behind a screen, okay? And there's three different ways that we kind of break that down. You can take a shot from behind the screen with a nice comfortable roll, which is exactly that. If I'm lined up behind a screen, I roll into my screen and I'm looking to take a shot with a nice comfortable roll, and I think that's the way most people like to shoot in wheelchair basketball. Okay, so there's times to work on that. Then you can work on a stationary shot. So if I'm sitting behind a screen, Bingo, you want to screen for me? Oh, yeah, Dave. There you go. Dave's screening for me, and I'm sitting behind the screen, okay? Now, the first way I talked about is I'm going to have the ball, and I'm going to be moving towards Dave and take this shot rolling in. Well, another offensive option, if you can sit here stationary, that changes what the defense does and what you have to do as an offense. So this is another great shot to be able to shoot while you're sitting still. And another shot that you'll see some guys, that's a new thing that guys are starting to work on, is this kind of fadeaway shot that people are working on, which means I'm going to close my gap to Dave a little bit more, use him, fade away a little bit, and then knock down that shot. So those are the three kind of variety of shots you'll see people take behind screen shots. In terms of drills that we work on for shooting, it's easy to come in and shoot around. The trouble is you don't get very many game shots that way. And the reason being is that you're playing defense in a game. You're power stopping in a game. You got to dribble in a game, you got to pass in a game. So you got to work on all that stuff within the same drill. So when you get in a game, shooting becomes automatic and fatigue doesn't play a role. Questions about that? Everybody understand? So one of the things that we do in terms of shooting drill is I call it beat the pro. Okay, so you pick a spot on the floor. Let's say I want to shoot from the elbow. So I'm going to move to the elbow. And the way it works is that you're going to play a game to 10. And you're playing against a professional. My personal favorite professional has always been Michael Jordan. So whenever I play beat the pro, I play against Michael Jordan. And like I said, the game is to 10. What you're going to do is you're going to shoot a shot. If you make the shot, you get 1 point. Okay, so then you're beating Michael Jordan 1-0. If you take your next shot and miss, Michael Jordan's a pro, so he gets 2 points every time you miss. All right? So if you make your first one and miss your second one, you're down 1-2 to Michael Jordan. And the game is to 10. The thing that you can do to add a little bit of pressure to that is you can put something on the line, which means that if you lose a game, you have to do 5 down and backs. Or if you lose a game, you got to do, 5 gut busters or whatever it may be, so you have something on the line. Any questions about that? Okay? The variation that we like to do at Whitewater that I have all my people do is I do what's called full court beat the pro. Okay, and we're going to have Becca demonstrate. But basically what you do is you pick a spot on the side of the floor, and your first shot's going to come from this angle on the floor. So if we pick a 45, Bex, come on over here. Becca's first shot is going to be from this 45. Okay, go ahead and shoot. Nice and cold, we'll see if you got it. All right, so right now Becca is down 0-2 to Michael Jordan. She's going to get the rebound. As fast as she possibly can, she's going to push to that end of the floor, bounce stop, and set up for another shot. Go ahead, Bex. All the way down there, bounce stop on that opposite 45. The reason I like doing this drill is because you'll see as Becca goes, she's working on a variety of things. She's moving with the ball. She's working on a bounce stop. She's controlling her chair. She's talking about fatigue. Then she's going to come back down here from the same spot over here. She's going to pull in, bounce stop again, set up for that shot again. Okay, and she's going to do this until either she gets 10 or the pro gets 10. And then you put something on the line again. The way I like to, what I do for my workout is I divide the court into 7 different spots. You got a baseline, a 45, elbow, free throw, elbow, 45, and baseline. And I come in the gym, and my workout isn't done for this particular workout until I beat the pro at all 7 spots. So if I'm not shooting very well, I could be in the gym for a while. So if I lose at a baseline spot, I have to go back and do that spot again until I beat them. So that's kind of an individual skill development that you guys can work on. Another real easy thing to do, if you don't have people to work out, that was a great one if you don't have people to work out with. Another one is just simply practice shots behind screen shots. We talk about everyone comes in and it's real easy to shoot. Well, put yourself in a game situation in terms of shooting. Get yourself a stationary folding chair. Get yourself, you know, mom, dad, brother, sister, friend that wants to hang out and be your screener, and then just practice shooting shots behind them. So if we got Dave as our screener, you can shoot. And Becca could just take 25 shots from behind the screen. Take 25 rolling in, take 25 stationary, take 25 fading away. You can change up the number of shots that you want to take. But the biggest thing we try to talk about is when you train like you're playing a game. Make everything as game-like as you can, so when you get into a game, everything's that much easier because it's habit. All right? Any questions about that kind of individual skill development we've talked about? Nothing at all. About shooting, dribbling, passing. Questions on any more drills? We'll take questions at the end as well. But if we don't have any questions, we'll kind of move on.
Well, when the shooter's behind the screen, game-like, isn't it really important to stay within the protection of the screen? Oftentimes, the shooter drifts past the screen and allows a big defender to stick their nose out and swat and hassle. So.
Yep, and we're going to get into that in offensive strategies. That's going to be our next step. Okay, so those are some of the individual skills that you're going to need on the offensive end. Now, in terms of offensive strategy, I'm going to break it down for you as simply as I can. And simply put, the two-person game that we're going to show you is how we run our offense at Whitewater. It's how the University of Illinois, the University of Texas, most college teams run their offense from this initial set, and then things develop from there. So we're going to start it as simple as we can on the two-person game. All right, questions about that? We're going to actually set it up on that opposite side of the floor. So the first drill that we're going to do, we call a two-man shell drill, a two-person shell drill. We're going to put two defenders up at the three-point line. I'll take that ball, Bex, thank you. Okay, Steve and Bex, you can be on defense, and we're going to put Brian and Sarah on offense. Now the goal of this drill, if you're looking at it from an offensive standpoint, is to get your offense as close to the hoop as you possibly can. And this is where we talk about sealing. Sealing comes into our offensive strategy. So Sarah and Brian are going to try and break down our defense as much as we can. Good? Okay, so now, after they've broken that down a little bit, the way, hold on Sarah, you can sit behind the screen. The way they got that defense right to the lane line, there's two important key points to that, okay? The offense is very important that they don't come in there like it's a Sunday stroll. You saw our offense, and they put their head down, and they were pushing as fast as they could. And what that does, it makes the defense have to push as fast as that can, and it helps you break down the defense. So as quickly as you can, you're going to attack that defense. What Sarah's doing is she's going around the outside, trying to get Brian in as close as we can, which is what we call sealing. Okay, so the goal of this drill is for the defense to keep the offense out as long as he can, and for the offense to get the defense broken down. And we'll play this drill, you know, early in our season, and it's a great defensive drill as well as offensive drill, and we'll do this without entering the basketball. Great way of practicing both defense and offense. Questions about our two-person shell drill? Okay, as of right now, we're gonna have everybody scoot back just a smidge because we're gonna run our two-person game right here. We're gonna talk a little offensive strategy. You guys wanna bring it on this side, please? Okay, now as we progress throughout our season at practice, what we do is after we break it down from the two-person game to getting here, our defense is doing well, our offense is doing well, then we enter the basketball. And now is where we see, you know, some tricky stuff happening, and you gotta kind of pay attention because as simple as it may be, this is where all those individual skills that we worked on earlier are gonna help you on the offensive end. So what did we work on earlier in terms of individual skills? Passing. Passing's a big one. What else do we work on? Bounce stop, which is our dribbling skills, right? What else do we work on? Shooting and shooting behind the screen. And this is right where it's at. Let's have, Sarah, I'll have you step out, and I'm going to kind of teach from being in here, if you don't mind.